always thought betrayal would come with a warning. Cold stare, a slip of the tongue, or maybe a sudden change in behavior. But nothing prepared me for what I was about to discover. My name is Adaugo. I am a 33-year-old woman from Enugu State, a schoolteacher, a mother of two, wife, a believer in God and the sanctity of marriage. I believed I had it all: a loving husband, Obinna, a peaceful home and a stable job. That is, until she came into my life. Her name was Ndidi, soft-spoken, elegant and broken, or so she claimed. When she came to my doorstep that rainy evening, soaked to the bone, holding a tiny nylon bag and crying uncontrollably, I didn't hesitate. She said she was running from an abusive relationship, that she had nowhere else to go. Took her in. I gave her shelter, fed her, clothed her. I even gave her my sister's room. I treated her like blood. What I didn't know was that I had just opened the door to my husband's secret lover. Ndidi was everything a grateful guest should be. She woke early to help with chores. She helped me dress the kids for school. She even helped me grade scripts late into the night. Her humility touched me. Her sob story melted me. She told me about her former lover, how he beat her, how he dragged her on the floor in front of neighbors. She wept as she shared how her family turned their backs on her for staying with him too long. She said she had no one. No brother, no sister, no parents. She called me sister. She even prayed with me every evening. Obinna barely said anything about her. He was a quiet man, always focused on his engineering projects. He traveled a lot, especially to Port Harcourt and Abuja, or so he said. I never questioned it. He was the breadwinner. He was faithful. Or so I thought. He had always been a bit distant. It was part of what made me fall for him. The mysterious aura, the calm, the seriousness. But after Ndidi moved in, that distance turned into a wall. A cold, thick wall I couldn't see through. Then came the changes. Obinna started coming home late, even when he wasn't on official trips. His phone had suddenly developed a password. He barely touched me anymore. Conversations became shorter. Sex became rare. I didn't want to admit anything was wrong, so I told myself lies. That he was stressed, that he was tired, that I needed to pray harder, that it was just a phase. Then came the first real red flag: lipstick. A shade of red I didn't own, on the collar of his white shirt. I laughed it off at first, telling myself it must have rubbed off during a hug from someone at work. But in my spirit I knew. Still I said nothing. I convinced myself that silence would fix things. They never touched. Not when I was watching. But the tension between them grew like a disease. Ndidi would pause when Obinna entered the room. Obinna, who barely noticed my new hairstyles or dresses, would compliment her. I caught them exchanging glances. And I noticed she always wore makeup when he was expected home, but barely brushed her hair when he wasn't. First I tried to dismiss it. I told myself I was overthinking it, that she was just trying to regain her confidence. After all, she was a victim of abuse, right? But then, strange things started happening. Once, I walked into the sitting room and found them sitting too close on the couch. When they saw me, they both jumped up awkwardly. Another time, I saw Ndidi walking out of the guest bathroom wearing Obina's shirt. She claimed she had mistakenly spilled water on hers and needed something dry. And then there was the cologne. Bina's cologne. I could smell it on her, faint but present. The worst part. My kids started calling her Auntie Mummy. Something had to be done. One night I pretended to be asleep. I heard the creak of my bedroom door and saw a shadow cross into the hallway. I tiptoed out and followed the sound of soft whispers coming from the kitchen. I hid by the door. "Obina, I can't keep doing this," Ndidi whispered. "You said you wanted this," he replied. "She's your wife. We're lying to her every day. I feel guilty. She doesn't suspect anything. Don't panic. Just one more month, and I'll rent that apartment for you. Be patient." My heart sank. So it was true. I didn't confront them immediately. That night, I lay in bed trembling. I couldn't sleep. My body was cold and hot at the same time. My brain refused to believe what my ears had heard. I needed proof. I needed evidence so undeniable that they wouldn't be able to lie their way out of it. So I started recording. I bought a small digital recorder and placed it under the cushion in the parlor. Another under the hallway table. A third in the kitchen. What I heard broke me. Ndidi had been with Obina for 6 years. Before I met him. Before we married. They had been on and off, but she remained his weakness. She got pregnant 2 years ago. He gave her money for an abortion. And when she became homeless, when her family disowned her, he told her to come stay with me. He said I was kind, that I would never suspect. And I didn't. They used me. All those nights I cried about our fading marriage. All those days I knelt to pray. Ndidi would console me, then sneak into my husband's arms behind closed doors. I took the recordings to a lawyer. I needed to prepare for war. I began to see everything differently. The way he no longer kissed me before leaving for work. The way he refused to make eye contact during dinner. The way Ndidi smiled when I complimented her cooking. I found myself questioning everything. Every trip he took, every gift he bought me, every time he told me he loved me. I began to prepare silently. I gathered evidence. I wrote letters to trusted friends. I made photocopies of our marriage certificate, our joint account records, our children's birth certificates. I put everything in a brown envelope labeled, just in case. And then I waited. I invited both of them to dinner one Sunday evening. I dressed beautifully in the yellow wrapper I wore the day Obina proposed to me. I made bitter leaf soup with fufu, his favorite. We sat down, smiled. "Thank you both for being here," I began. "Ndidi, you've been like a sister. Obina, my husband, my love. Tonight, I want us to share a meal of truth." I placed my phone on the table. Press play. Their voices echoed through the room. "Just one more month, I'll rent that apartment. I can't keep lying to her. She's too stupid. She'll never find out." Silence. Ndidi dropped her spoon. Obina's face went pale. I stood slowly. "I'm not stupid," I said. "Just patient." I handed him the brown envelope. "These are divorce papers. Already signed. My lawyer will be in touch." Ndidi stood, tears in her eyes. "Please, Ada. I didn't mean to." I cut her off with a glare. "You meant every word. every kiss, every lie. But you didn't mean to get caught. Obinna tried to beg after I left. He called me dozens of times. But I had already told his office HR. Their code of conduct was strict. Fraternizing with personal guests in company-paid accommodations was a violation. He lost his job within a week. Ndidi became homeless again. The new man she tried to move in with beat her black and blue. She tried calling me. Blocked her. I moved into a new apartment with the kids. I enrolled in therapy. I joined a women's support group. I started a blog, anonymous at first. I titled it The Stranger I Called Sister. Women from all over began sharing their own stories. Betrayal, pain, healing. Pain birthed a community. I spoke at conferences. I appeared on local TV shows. My story helped other women find their voice. Dear Ndidi, you came into my life with lies. You wore the mask of a sister, while secretly playing wife to my husband. You ate from my kitchen. You bathed in my home. You slept peacefully while destroying the life I built. But I thank you. Because of you, I found the strength to walk away. I stopped worshipping a man who didn't value me. I found my voice. This is my truth. This is my healing. And this is the end of your chapter in my life. Adaugo. And so, my dear listeners, let this be a reminder. Not all enemies come with weapons. Some come with smiles. Some come with prayers. Some call you sister. But the moment you discover your worth, the moment you take back your power, you become unstoppable. This is the gracious voice, where every story reveals a truth, and every voice finds healing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real African stories that touch the soul. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and stay gracious. The end.